News at 11.
In today's economy, paying utility bills can be a tough task, but what if your hard-earned money was going to foot the bill for some questionable spending?
Well, a 6 News investigation looking into Morristown Utility Systems found thousands of charges for things like trips, four-star hotels, and some fancy dinners.
That's right. The night team's Alexis Soto's joining us now. And Alexis, you've spent months going over these records.
That's right, Jean, Lori. We have spent the last couple of months, producer Ryan Webb and I, we obtained credit card statements and expense reports through an open records request for the last 2 years at Morristown Utility Systems. It's a utility with about 15,000 customers, but we found they're spending thousands on items that many of those customers weren't too happy with.
Oh my gosh.
That does kind of get frustrating. Mercy.
These customers aren't reacting to high utility bills.
Wow.
No, those are the reactions to the spending of employees at Morristown Utility Systems. It's a utility company that serves just under 15,000 customers. But we found your rates aren't just going to water and electric. You're footing the bill for some pricey perks. Last year, 6 employees and board members flew to Denver for the American Water Works Association conference, a trip costing $11,000. Then it was off to San Diego for a trip costing $5,724, a conference in Dallas for $4,000. And the trips are done in style, 4-star hotels and a lot of steak dinners, including this one in McCormick and Schmick's in Seattle for $420. Several $38 fillets and a $34 ribeye. The alcohol was reimbursed, but it's still a fancy dinner on your dime.
Shoot, I could eat a week on that.
But they're not just spending big money when they go out of state. Trips to Nashville include a $490 dinner at the Stockyard, $163 at Morton's, and at the hotel, a $19 movie charged to the room, all paid for with the company card.
It's hard for us to make ends meet, so to see them spending that kind of money is kind of overwhelming.
We poured over financial statements for the last 2 years, finding that employees at MUS spend $91,000 on travel in 2013. In 2012, they spent $81,000. That breaks down to around $6 per customer. So who's going on these trips? The biggest traveler is CEO Jody Wigington, but CFO Clark Rucker, Power System Manager Brian DeLozer, Water System Manager Mike Howard, and Telecommunications Manager George Benjamin all make several trips each year, along with many other employees. Most of them are in state, conferences and meetings in Chattanooga, Nashville, and Gatlinburg, almost always staying overnight, something Morristown residents say they couldn't afford to do.
Most definitely not, because it's way too expensive and it's an hour home.
But going through these financial statements, we found employees are also eating out right here in Morristown. Lunches and dinners all across town. Employees spent more than $8,000 last year.
I'm sure that the merchants like it, but I don't think it's good for the ratepayers.
With thousands of dollars in questionable spending, we wanted to know who's keeping Morristown Utility Systems in check. We took our concerns to City Council and the City Mayor.
If a Morristown Utility System can afford to spend that kind of money, then surely we can afford to reduce our rates.
That shocks me and disappoints me, because as a council member, we're charged and obligated to be the best stewards of the ratepayers and the taxpayers' money.
Morristown Utility Systems is an entity of the city, but other than approving bond issues and commission appointments, the city has no control. The 5-member utility board is in charge of oversight, but we found many of them attend these conferences and dinners.
It would seem it would be difficult to regulate your own activities.
Seems like an awful lot of money.
Councilmember Bob Gary used to work at MUS. He says the spending is out of control, especially when it comes to out-of-state conferences.
I know what they're doing. They're playing. They could not go to a single damn one of those, and the system would do just as well.
The company's CEO, Jody Wigington, refused to do an on-camera interview, instead responding to our questions about travel expenses in an email, saying, quote, "This is 0.08% of revenues. We do not consider this excessive. Training employees with new skills in a constantly changing business climate has resulted in $800,000 in annual operations and maintenance savings." But customers say the expenses seem too high.
I think it needs to be investigated. I don't think that's right.
Now, we have all of these receipts and many more of these expenses on our website, along with the rest of the statement provided by the CEO at Morristown Utility System.
Alexis, you took these findings to the mayor. What's he going to do with it?
Well, it's a good question. There isn't much he can do, but he says he has contacted the city attorney and he does plan to ask for a review from the state comptroller's office.
All right, thank you very much.
Very interesting. Tonight, Morristown's mayor is calling for an official investigation after what we showed you last night here on 6 News.
Our I-team dug into the financial statement at Morristown Utility Systems and found some questionable spending. Documents we obtained showed tens of thousands of dollars in travel spending, fancy dinners, and 4-star hotels.
Well, many of you asked us to look into KUB as well, so here's how the numbers stack up. In our open records request, we found documents showing Morristown Utility Systems executives spent more than $55,000 on travel and conferences last year.
Now compare that to KUB, which provided records showing its executives spent just more than $9,000 on travel and conferences in that same period. KUB has around 444,000 customers, while Morristown Utility Systems serves just fewer than 15,000 customers.
6 News reporter Alexis Sotos now joins us live from Morristown. So Alexis, what you discovered came up for discussion at tonight's city council meeting there.
Well, Jean, Lori, at tonight's city council meeting, Morristown mayor made a request to city council to ask for the state comptroller to come audit Morristown Utility Systems. This all stems from our investigation into the financial records of MUS. Now, none of the city council members seconded that motion, so it failed, but the mayor says he does plan to pursue other options. Now, tonight we are taking a deeper look into some of these records, taking a look at the salaries. We found that even during the recession, employees at MUS were receiving some pretty hefty raises. The electric, water, and fiber net in Morristown are all run by Morristown Utility Systems. They provide service for about 15,000 customers. The average income in the city of Morristown is about $18,000. And as part of our open records request at MUS, we wanted to know, how much do their employees make? CEO Jody Wigington is the highest paid, making $152,546 last year. It's a 29% increase from 2009. The biggest jump was in 2011 with a $12,000 raise. At that time, unemployment in Morristown was at 10.4%.
I can't imagine getting a $12,000 raise when that's what I make in a year, because I'm on Social Security.
Sherry Eason is a Morristown Utilities customer. She works on Main Street and pays a few hundred each month for her utilities.
Around 200.
We showed her and other residents the salaries of the top executives. CFO Clark Rucker makes $124,445. It's an increase of $28,000 since 2009. Power Systems manager Brian DeLozer makes $103,628. That's a 30% increase from 2009. In an emailed response, Morristown Utilities CEO Jody Wigington says their raises are part of a 5-year goal to advance their employees to be at or below the mid-range for the industry. Are you getting any of those kind of raises?
No, I'm not getting any raises right now.
But raises are part of doing business, so we wanted to take a look at another utility for comparison. KUB serves 444,000 customers, almost 30 times the amount of Morristown Utilities. Their CEO, Mintha Roach, made $278,846 last year. That's a salary increase of 9% since 2009. KUB Vice President Derwin Hagwood makes $150,192. That comes out to a 14% raise in the last 4 years. The mayor of Morristown says the salaries at MUS are just another reason to take a closer look at their spending.
The more you tell me, the more I think that we need to delve into this in great detail so that we can satisfy the ratepayers that they know that they're not being taken for money that could be used to reduce the rates.
Now, if you want to take a look at these numbers for yourself, we have all of that data on our website, the salaries of Morristown Utility Systems as well as KUB. You can go there and check it out, as well as see all of our continuing coverage of Morristown Utility Systems. On your side, live in Morristown, Alexis Sotos, 6 News.
A 6 News investigation reveals questionable spending by employees at Morristown Utility Systems.
Well, as we told you last night, here at 11, thousands of dollars has been spent on travel, expensive steak dinners, and some hefty salaries.
Our coverage continues tonight. The night team's Alexis Sotos found customer money was also helping throw some pricey parties.
Jean, Lori, tonight the Morristown mayor called for an audit from the state comptroller's office looking into Morristown Utility Systems after we brought our findings to his attention. Now we're looking at the tens of thousands of dollars spent on company banquets. It was all aboard Saturday for employees of Morristown Utility Systems for the annual end-of-the-year banquet. The employees and their families took a private cruise on the Tennessee riverboat after a 2-hour lunch at Calhoun's on the river. The $5,327 lunch and boat ride were both footed by ratepayer dollars. But that's not even a third of the cost of the big party. The real cost came from the door prizes and employee gifts. $300 in American Express gift cards, a $500 iPad, a $100 gift card to Ruth Chris, 164 car wash gift certificates totaling $820, $1,700 in Cracker Barrel gift cards, and thousands of others. The final price tag for Saturday's party? $15,180.
I do good to make that in a year, you know. Like I say, by the time I pay my bills, I honestly, you know, I have hardly anything left, you know. And then you see stuff like this, you know, and $15,000, almost $16,000, you know, for a party.
We caught up with Morristown Utilities customer Mitchell Long as he was paying his electric bill.
$118.94.
We showed him the receipts we obtained through an open records request.
That just blows my mind to see this.
But this year's banquet was a bit of a bargain compared to last year's. Morristown Utility Systems shelled out $3,600 for a 1-hour performance by Felix and Fingers dueling pianos. The party was held at the Country Club in Morristown. A meal of prime rib, beef tenderloin, and New York-style cheesecake cost the ratepayers more than $6,000.
They have one good party.
And once again, employees walked away with some pretty pricey door prizes. A $600 stay at the Biltmore, $400 worth of season passes to Dollywood, a $200 Kindle Fire, and $500 Smart HD TV.
I'd like to have a TV.
And again, hundreds of dollars in gift cards.
These people make enough money that they don't need gift cards. They, you know, if you want to have a banquet, have a banquet. That's fine and dandy. But why do you have to add on all these extra expenses?
The 2012 banquet cost ratepayers $21,702.
Lavish. It doesn't matter how you cut them.
In addition to the yearly banquets, there's also a company breakfast, this year costing ratepayers $18,776. After we showed Morristown Mayor Danny Thomas our findings, he has now called for an investigation into the spending at MUS.
I'm very disappointed in the procedures that are being carried out at Morristown Utility System.
When we tried to get answers from MUS at this weekend's banquet, we were told only the CEO could respond, and he's out of town.
Is there no one that can answer to your guys' customers on why you guys think this type of party is acceptable?
I'm sorry, I'm not authorized to comment.
CFO Clark Rucker said he couldn't comment, but he is authorized to sign off on expense reports and put these purchases on his card. In total, this year, Morristown Utilities spent $33,000 on banquets. We again asked for an on-camera interview with the company's CEO. Instead, he responded with an email saying these banquets are recognition of the hard work and dedication of their employees. It's an annual tradition. And as for the gift cards and prizes, he says those are just an additional means of showing appreciation for employees. On your side in the studio, Alexis Sotos, 6 News Night Team.